Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. It is a Sunday as I'm recording this. It is wet outside, not currently raining. It is cold, but inside, as you can see, I'm only wearing this, and the video is choppy. I don't know why things are just so choppy on my tablet anymore. Yay. But anyway, thumbs up. Oh, the timer on my bathroom just turned off. Yay. Anyway, though, really quick, I do want to laugh about this because it made me laugh out loud, because it's, number one, the kind of humor that I have and enjoy. But I watch Solid JJ. Solid JJ takes old straight stills from like an old 70s TV show, cartoon show, like the Super Friends, and then makes his own story around them. And at one point, the latest one is Lex Luthor and the Legion of Doom has taken over the U.S. Senate. So they're in charge of the U.S. government. And Hal Jordan goes, hey, just don't make this political, okay? And Lex is like, well, wait a minute. This is inherently political. I've taken over the U.S. Senate. And Hal is just like, yeah, but don't make this weird. Don't get political about it. And Lex is just, how? And then it goes on with people talking over him going on from there. It's a really quick insert, but I love that it's just, don't do this thing that it's all about. And just, well, how do I do that? And so, yeah, thumbs up for that. Now, the other biggest thing that I want to talk about. I have, throughout my life, done accents, approximations, of course, of what I hear as an accent. And as a person who is really good at mirroring, not as good as I've gotten older, but I had to work hard all my life to not almost, 100% mimic somebody's accent when they were talking to me, because that can be seen as mocking, and that's not good. But I've been able to do accents like that, my approximations thereof. And so I have a lot of weird accents that I just do. And I also talk to myself. I've mentioned that. A lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it can help out. It's a good thing to do. You should try it. But not always when I talk is my brain involved first. I have gotten so used to just saying things off the top of my head that when I'm speaking, even just to myself here, I won't always plan on saying something. It'll just happen. So oftentimes, I will be just as surprised by what I've just said out of the blue as anybody else in the room would be. So, I have this one stupid 1980s, Soviet-era accent. It's like, we are going to go down into this valley, and we are going to look at the spaceship. And so I was doing something, and all of a sudden, as I was doing other things and starting to clean up, I just started to speak. And for whatever reason, I said, this is my Burlep Seck. And just as surprised as anybody else would be at the fact that I have made a declaration of ownership over a non-existent burlap sack, I listened to see what on earth I was going to say next. And the only thing that came out of my mouth next was, you will respect my Seck. And I started, of course, to laugh like an idiot, because respect my sack is a dumb thing to say, euphemistically, non-euphemistically, all over the place. And it was just like, oh my God. Because, again, my brain was just as amazed at what my mouth was saying as anybody else in the room would have been. Because quite often my mouth does not require brain input to say something. So thumbs up for that. Respect my Seck. Yay. Past that, I have not been doing much. I've been going walkies as best I can, but it has been wet and rainy and cold and ugh. So I have not gone out much during the daytime because it's been largely raining during the daytime. And it's just been windy and nasty, but I make it to go out. We have in our parking lot a little shed for smokers. It was put up and it's 3 metal poles on each side that are actually literally, the bases are bolted into the blacktop of the parking lot, and then the poles come up out of those bases attached to a roof type area, and then it can dangle canvas type stuff off of that. And so it stands up, and it's, you know, with all the canvas, you've got an entrance, sides, and a back. And we had a windstorm not that long after they first put it up, and it destroyed all the canvas. So now there's kind of a roof and just a back. But it has been so torn up by the wind. I went out to check it out this morning. The bolts that hold the base into the ground, they're like 2 of them ripped up on each side, just torn up out of the blacktop. So yeah, the whole thing's at an angle. They need to be rebolted and redone entirely. I mean, putting up a shed for people that need to smoke so that they've got a place that's out of the wind is good, that's smart, that's nice. But also, putting up something that catches the wind at a time when it's windy, yeah. So it's all destroyed, but it's still partially there. Yay. And again, it is so weird that this area, this part of northern Shelton is just so wet. I mean, I can walk to Walmart. I can walk in the opposite direction down towards the stream. I can go walking in any direction, and it's wet here with puddles. And within just a few blocks, we're dry. There's no puddles, nothing is moist, but you come back out here and everything is damp. And again, it's not like, you know, burst pipes. It's just the weather in this area, there's a lot of moisture. Thumbs up for that. Past that though, I have been asked if I would play more Halls of Torment, because the person that asked it has been getting into it. And they have had a whole bunch of new updates. There's been a new area added. And so I've been playing it to test it, and yeah. So I'm going to be doing a Halls of Torment, and I've got a new Vegas that I've got to get done, because I was talking with somebody else in comments where I'm going to be putting the main story on pause, and I'm going to do the Sierra Madre first, then Honest Hearts, and then go on from there. And yeah, I mean, I really love the game. It's awesome. You know, Fallout New Vegas for the win. I've got still Fallout 3, which I used to play on the Xbox 360 way back when, but my 360 died way years and years and years ago. So I also have it for the PC is what I play it on now. So maybe when that's done. Yay! And I've got solo stuff to do, and I'm still looking into getting a binding thing. The weird part about this is, if you get a binder, you know, where you've got your notebooks, you know, the paper in a bound thing with a little plastic binding, and you get the machine, it'll open up the plastic binder as you put the paper on the pieces, you bring the handle back and it closes them up, and then you've got a bound book. And it's easy, and they're not very expensive. You can get the covers, plastic covers for the front, harder covers for the back. You can get the machine itself. It's all hand done. You don't need to have any electricity. And then there's they're called combs that hold it together. Yeah, they can't ship them to the pharmacy here. Everything else they can ship, but the part that makes it work, no, they can't ship it to the pharmacy. But if you look up the place where I live on the GPS, it doesn't have it. And when I looked on Google Maps, the picture, if you find it, is just this place being built a year ago. So I don't want to risk just Amazon having to find it on their own anymore, since I have had to go all around the community trying to find them before. I don't want to have to deal with that again. So the part that makes it work is the part that I can't get. So I'm still trying to work on those, because they would be better than the big old notebooks that I got. And an irritating thing happened. This is fun. I can never tell here, when I'm just looking at things, is something, what size the actual paper of the document is, because everything, if you read it on, I use the Foxit PDF reader, and largely it scales, and anything like I use on a tablet, it will scale. The only real way to tell what the actual thing is, if you want to really look into it, and I, as an ADHD person, I gotta do that, is to like pretend you're gonna print it and then see what it says. Because I have 2D6 Dungeon, and I sent it to the library to print it. Now, European paper, like, I can't remember which one is closest to letter size for American. There's like A4 or A5, I can't remember. One of them is huge, and one of them is real close to letter size. The person that makes the game that I wanted to print, of course, European, which means I've got European print on the paper that I found out about. But because of the different size, the printer could shrink the image slightly and then print it on the page, but because it's not the right size of paper. But instead, what it does is, it goes, oh, this is a slightly wrong size. So instead of shrinking it a little and printing it there, I'm going to shrink it down halfway, rotate it up onto its size, and then print it only up at the top of the letter size paper. So instead of being a full size, easy to thing print, it's just really tiny print up at the top, squashed all onto the upper half of a page. Which makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So on the one hand, putting out 2D6 Dungeon side to side, so it's printed lengthwise, hard to read. This is easier to read, while being harder to read, because it's half size, and I'm older, and I already have horrible vision. It is almost impossible to focus on tiny print without, like, reading glasses and more. I didn't need them, but now because they're oriented this way on a page, they're easier to read while being harder to read. Whereas the other way, they'd be harder to read while being easier to read. And then, of course, I got up to the last thing, the actual rule book. Now, I'd had to go through each time. It would say load A4 or A5 paper. I think it was A5 paper. There is no A5 paper, and you can't put your paper in the machine. So I'd have to go through each time until it no, use this paper instead. The last thing, the rule book, I accidentally hit the 11 by 17, so it started printing full size on paper that was this big. So I had to cancel that job, and of course it charges you up front. So if you cancel, you still paid for it. So I gotta go back up there, reprint it, get it all called up, get ready to load it, go over to talk to the desk, have them look at the notes that have been put into my thing about this, and then hopefully we can get it done from there. Because poorly printed and all that, hey, at least I got it printed. And yeah, I mean, I don't technically need to have it printed out. I got a tablet, I got all these things, but I like the feel of paper. I like the smell of paper. I grew up using dead trees. I like dead trees. What can I say? Cellulose is a good thing. Yay. Past that, though, not a whole lot has been happening. I have been living inside of here. I have been going and doing walkies when I can. Because it's the beginning of the month, I've had to go to Walmart and do it because I either need my walker, but it's been raining, so I can't use my walker, so I've got to carry very small numbers of things. It is really getting sparkly here. I'm going to have to stop using this arm. I have to carry either a small amount of stuff and make a large number of trips, or use my walker to carry a large number of things, but with it raining, I can't use my walker, so I've been doing a lot of small walks. Yay! Nothing wrong with that. There was something about walks and carrying things and doing all this that I had suddenly thought of on a squirrel moment, but of course I can't remember what it was because one track, oh boy. Still though, as stated, I'm doing my best to survive. I am trying to take care of myself as best here. It hurts like the devil when I am lying down and sleeping. Either my hips hurt or my shoulders hurt. When I say hips, it's not really your hips. Your hips are on the inside, close to your groin. What I have hurting is on, god damn. What I have, it just, I'm not careful. I mean, I'm right that close away from pain, so I gotta not do that. What I call hips is the outside. That's just sheer muscle stuff. That's the weight of your body on your muscles. That hurts a lot. It's like being smacked with a hammer there. It's sharp owies. And then this, oh, I got so much just from the nerve compression, so yay. So not sleeping well, but eating better, and that's a good thing, so yay on that. Trying to do stuff on my computer, trying to do stuff with both my board gaming stuff and the solo RPGing stuff. I got stuff uploaded for there. I got the stuff to read except for a whole public domain thing, which I still have to find. I need to find something that's interesting to me too when I say public domain. I mean, it has to be like horror or fantasy or science fiction. I don't really like stuff like, I mean, romance within one of the three settings that I've already mentioned, awesome. Romance movie, boring. To me. To other people, great. But to me, I can't do that. So, contemporary stuff, thrillers, depends. You know, I'm still a human being, so spectacle will grab me. But largely, if it's not like horror or science fiction or fantasy, I just, what can I say? So I need to find something along those lines. If the H.P. Lovecraft stuff, the stuff that's in public domain, I'll read that. Or there's like Lord Dunsany did a lot of good stuff. But for the same reasons that I have trouble with like trying to read things like the Kalevala, is the Lord Dunsany stuff is largely in poem stuff, and I, again, trying to follow the rhythm and keep the rhythm is so hard it drives me nuts, so yay on that. And then of course I have to keep recharging my batteries. I use rechargeable AA's since it takes AA's, 3 AA's, so I am almost constantly having to recharge the batteries on a 2 battery per series, so had to change the batteries and now it's got color. I also have too many lights on here to see these well, so yay. So hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done today. That would be awesome. For each and every one of my Patreon patrons, you are beautiful and awesome people. Remember that. Even though I really can't put your names up here yet, I am going back in to find out what's going on with all the specialty people that are supposed to be calling me. I'm going there tomorrow to talk to them because, it's driving me nuts, so yay on that. But remember, when you look in the mirror, you are beautiful and awesome people, all of you Patreon patrons. For everybody that has left me a comment, I've actually answered more than, I've been trying to answer comments in comments. I'm not always able to because of executive function dysfunction issues and this, because joy, but I do the very best I can. And even though I can't leave comments on these things as much as I would like, remember, each and every one of these comments is read and usually appreciated. Sometimes if they're super critical, I'm not appreciative. And if they're downright abusive, of course not. Those I just read long enough for them to go, trash can. But for anything that's not abusive that I don't appreciate, I'll keep it up and read it. Some things I just can't parse and I don't understand. And I'll put a thing like, I don't understand what you're trying to say here, you know, periodically, because there are times that my neurodiversity will not allow me to properly parse a sentence. Each individual word makes sense, But put it together, I have no idea what you're trying to say. And it's not like they're going like, ooga booga wanga banga. No, it's, you know, I'll take this to the laundromat, you know, as an example. Each one of those things makes sense separately, but put it together and I am conceptually unable to make that step from A to B to C to D. Can't make it to E. Just like my poor cryptids. Which on a real quick cryptid talk thing is, just remember, cryptids, I'll talk about them later, because we're at the end. We're at the end. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is, indeed, a very, very good thing. Yay! So, no major editing. I'm going to edit, render, upload, then immediately start recording either Halls of Torment or New Vegas, or Halls of Torment, and then later on New Vegas. Hard to say, so thumbs up. Anyway though, you take care, and time for me to tap that on-screen stop recording button.